Hey Mike, I hope you had a good weekend. I got this proposal written up for you and I wanted to explain it really quick. Most of it's pretty self-explanatory. I want to take just a couple minutes and explain some of the details. So the main thing is the primary strategic objective. So the main thing that we're trying to do with you would be to develop a strong and visible online presence. So to build a website for you, make it a good looking website, make a website that works, that looks great and works great, and then make it really easy for anybody to find that website when they search for things like custom homes here in Grand Junction, Redlands, Fruita, etc. Here's the primary strategy. So step one would be to create a professional looking website, one that looks great and works great. Step two is I have some really powerful analytics that I would install on your website. Basically what it does, anybody that goes to your website, we would track everything. So we would see how many visitors you had, where those visitors came from, which keywords they typed in order to get to your website. Also, when we were talking, you mentioned that you thought that a lot of people would go to your website, would access it with a mobile device like an iPhone or something like that. The beautiful thing about this analytics package that I will install on your website is it records everybody who goes to your website and what kind of mobile or what kind of device they use to access your website. So I'll be able to tell you very quickly when people go to your website, most of them are using a PC or a Mac, or most of them are using mobile. So you'll know. It's good information to know because if most people are using a mobile device to access your website, then that's where you want to be optimized. So that's useful. We'd install that on your website. There's several other capabilities that analytics package has. It's one of the most powerful analytics packages out there. I own it. It's something I developed. So anyways, the other thing that we would do is equip your website with call tracking. So anybody that called in from your website, we would track those calls so we knew how many referrals and how many leads we were generating. Then for the first couple months, we'd run some PPC to your website. PPC means pay-per-click. And so you would show up in the paid listing of Google. So you'd have presence as soon as the website was done. You'd automatically have visibility online. People could find you. And then so the first objective with that is to get a little bit of traffic and hopefully try to generate some jobs for you. But the second thing that we would do is we would use the data from our PPC campaign to figure out which 5 key phrases are the most important, the most relevant to what you're doing. So we'd run some analytics to test that. And then once we have this list, then the last step would be to launch an SEO or a Google search engine optimization campaign for those top 5 key phrases. And then the next page of this strategy outlines the budget. So the website, this is would be a low end. As far as the budget, $500 is about as low as you could build a website for. Most of my clients spend quite a bit more than that, but talking to Craig, he said that your budget would want to be around $3,000 to $5,000. So I wrote this up trying to keep you in a budget that would fit your needs. So $500 on a website. Now with that said, your website is going to look awesome. It's just not going to be a super deep website. It's not like there's going to be 50 pages to it. There'll be a few pages, but every page will look tip-top. Then once you have your website, you have to pay for what's called hosting. Basically what that does is you pay anywhere from $10 to $50 per month, and then your website stays online. So for the hosting and the tracking and the analytics, it'd be $50 per month, and then I recommend $250 of PPC for 2 months. So you have $500 of PPC. And then I would recommend a $3,000. Now this is an estimated because I can't control exactly how long it will take you to get to the top. But based on my analysis, I think $3,000, give or take maybe $1,000, is probably where you're going to be ranked on the first page of Google. So all that said, taken into consideration, you'd be less than $5,000, and it might be considerably less than $5,000. It's possible we could get you up to the first page with less than $2,000 of budget. I can't say definitively because sometimes it takes a little bit longer, a little bit shorter. But I feel confident that $4,900 is a pretty accurate, if not liberal, budget on what you need in order to get your website online, for it to be hosted, tracking and to get you ranked for some of the more prominent keywords here in the Grand Junction area. So the next few pages on this proposal that I put together aren't relevant to you at this stage of business, so or at this stage of marketing strategy, so you can just ignore those. That's the main thing. You got your strategy right here. This is what we would do. Again, this is the proposed cost, or the proposed budget, estimated cost. And if you wanted to look at some of the websites we've developed, you can go to snapwebdevelopment.com, or my other website is just snapbusinesssolutions.com. So go to Snap Web Development, scroll down, look at some of the websites that we put together. Anyways, if you have any questions, my number is going to be on here, and I'll email this over and we'll go from there.